Hello, welcome to the Laptop YouTube session for Flask tutorial. So in the last session, we introduced ourselves to Flask, how Flask works, how to build a little web application using Flask. We agree that Flask is a web development framework. Then we go to the installation procedure for Flask. So I will implore you to check the last video if you have not seen it before you can get to this particular session. Then I also implore you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can get subsequent videos on Flask and on Python programming in general. So let's get started. In this session, we'll be discussing on how to pull all your web files together. So if you have a particular web files, you want to put together HTML files, CSS files, and even JavaScript. So how do you pull everything together and push it into your web application? Okay, so in the Flask, we have the architecture of Flask is like you have to create folders where you have to put your HTML files, and the name of the folder should be templates. So you have to create a particular folder called templates. This particular template is where you have your HTML files. Then you can also create a folder called static, where you put your static files. So what exactly are static files? Static files include your HTML. So static files include your HTML, your CSS, your script. So you put everything within this particular folder called static. Okay, so let's say that I have a particular HTML files, which is here. I'm going to create a new one, a new HTML files, which I'll be using for this demonstration. Then you have to save it inside the folder static. Inside the folder templates, this is the folder we are working with. So I'm going to call this file login.html. So I just want to display a simple login application. So it's an HTML file. So let's create the HTML file. HTML HTML HTML. Try to see if I can expand this. Zooming in. Zooming in. So let's zoom in just one more time. Okay. I'll just put the body tag. So in my login page, I'll just have to put a form. I just have an input to test slash input. In this particular one, I'm going to say that username password type record to test. Then I'm going to put a submit button, which is input submit. Okay, so this is my page. This is my home page. Now I want to connect this particular page to my web application. So what I would like to do is to create a page for it here, which is called root. Okay, the name of the page will be /login, which means that the rules is like once user visits my home address, which has the /login, then this function should be executed. What I want to open is this particular HTML file. I want this HTML file should pop out once user see that /login. So then it should show this particular HTML code which I've written. If I need to do that, then I'll have to use the render underscore templates. So the render underscore templates allows us to run HTML files within our code. So if you want to open a new, like your own web files, instead of redirecting to a new web page, then you have to use the render underscore templates. I'll say that return render underscore templates. Then note that your template file must be within your folder, which is here in our template file. So we already have it within our folder, and the name of the file is login.html. It is so simple. We are using the function called the render underscore templates. Then we are calling this particular function. Then use this particular function to open this file within our folder. So by just executing this code, the render underscore templates will look for the login.html files within the template folder. Then if it exists, then it's going to open. If it doesn't exist, it's going to bring in an error. So I'm going to execute my code again. Now, you just have to visit the site, my IP address /login. So this is going to open the HTML file. You can see this HTML code we created, which is this. So that's how you'll be connecting your HTML files. So let's say you have a new HTML files like this, which is, let's say that in this HTML file, I'm going to call it store.html. So instead of writing this again, I'm going to copy this, then paste it here. Then instead of this form now, so I'll just write like a particular h1 code, h1 code. So h1 is for like that. So h1, now call it stop. So within this, then I'm going to create a list, li. Let me use another list slash so that I sell mobile phone within my store. And here li, and I also sell laptops within the store. And also have also video game. So now I have a new HTML file called store. Then I can create the function called create a new page for the store. So I'll just use the same thing here, which is similar to this. And I'll say that slash, I can call it anything, maybe my store. And also, you must know that this name and this name might not necessarily be the same. Even this might not necessarily be the same with this. You can say that store. Then what file I want to return, store.html. And what I said here earlier is that this render underscore template, we always look for the store.html within the within the template folder. Then if you couldn't find it, it's going to return an error. If it finds it, it's going to return the HTML file. So let's say that this particular one is what I've given instead of this store, which means that this is not actually within my template folder. Then if I visit /store, I have the particular template here. You can see the URL not find. Okay, I think it should be my store. My store, that is the name of the root. My store, yeah. So it's going to come up with an error that this store.html is not within the template folder. It could not find it. So I'm going to update this code. You can see everything update automatically because of the debug tool. And you have this. This is my store. So that's how you link your HTML files together. So let's now move to static files. In your static file, in your static folder, you will be able to store put your CSS files and your HTML files within the static folder. So let's say that I want to display a particular image here of a laptop or iPhone. So I'm just going to download any random image from Google. So I'm going to that laptop. I'm just going to download anyone from Google. I'm going to save it within my template, my static folder. So it's going to be used for this demonstration. So I'm just going to call it okay, let's leave it to be this index. I want to put the image here. And you can see that the image is located here in the starting folder. So let me check the file name extension to be sure what I think is JPG file, yeah, JPG index.jpg. Now to put in files in HTML is the img tag. So we use the img tag slc. Meaning that index that's jpg. Now you can see that if I display this image, it's not going to be visible. It's not going to be visible. So until I provide the right path. Now this is how you link it. To provide the right path, you have to see that /static /index.html. So with this, you should be able to see the files. So /static means that you're actually coming out of this particular folder, then getting back to the root files. You know, our code is located here, the template folder is here. Then you see that we are getting out of this place, then getting into this place, then try to locate the file. So that is why I put dot to get out the folder template, then get into the folder static, then pick in our files index.jpg. Then this is also the way you locate you link your CSS files within your code. So you can create copies of page if you have several HTML files by just saying /. The procedure is so simple. Use the app.root, then put the name of these files, the name of this particular function, the name of the page user will have to visit to get into your page. Then you create any function name that should be executed after user visits this. Then you use the vendor_template to return the HTML file. So this is the procedure of putting everything together. Another important thing you also like to put together within your code is the requirement.txt, but we won't be doing that. We are actually not going to work within. So the requirement.txt is needed anytime you want to push your code to the server. Like if you have a particular server, you might need a requirement.txt where you put the libraries that are depending on your code to function. So in this case, I only have the Flask, but you can still create more of it. Let's say that you have so much dependency, then you can use the pipe txt. This will open the the dependency list of dependency that your code actually depend on. So I think something like this should be used. So pipe freeze requirement.txt. This shouldn't take so long. Okay, so you can just copy all this list of functions. Your application is so much. I really don't like to use this. I just like to list them manually, but you could have first list this in case you have some functions you really need to put in together. So in your requirement.txt, you open this, then copy this, paste it here. So you can just leave this like that for now. It's not going to be used now, but anytime you are moving to deployment, we might need it to deploy our code to the web server for production. So thank you so much for this session. I would love you to subscribe to my channel so you can get wonderful videos like this. In the next session, we'll be proceeding on the web development using Flask. So we are discussing some method that allows you to post some things into your server, and also method that allows you to get some things from the server. So thank you so much for watching this tutorial session.